of the power of music as self-care. He is the world's leading expert on the power of music for physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, holds magna cum laude degrees in piano performance and creative writing, and has led a successful IT consulting practice for more than 30 years. I am so glad to be introducing Bill Protzmann. Welcome, Bill.
Hey, Deb. How's the day of healing going?
I was just saying, it's been absolutely amazing. Um, Bill is number 19, and it's been so incredible to see the variety of healers that we have on this planet, and all the love that they bring forth. And I think that Bill brings will bring something so very different as well. He's a wonderful pianist and a consultant for business on music, right? On music as self-care, and helps a lot of people. And so what are you going to do for us today, Bill?
Well, I thought I'd do something that speaks to me. Guided intentional listening is one of the practices that I teach, but you got to have an intention for that. And over the course of the last, well, I was going to say couple of weeks, but it's more like couple of years, forgiveness is right up there at the top of my list. I've tried to do a lot of my own internal forgiving. So offering this guided intentional listening today with forgiveness, I think is an important, maybe not a bookend, but an important step along the journey of sort of releasing our past stories and coming to a moment of presence and that is now where we can do work.
That sounds wonderful. And I think you're so right. Forgiveness is a huge topic that each of us could be working on all the time. So I am going to let you take over, and I'm going to participate and enjoy the healing that you bring today. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Let's see that beautiful sunset that's behind you.
Yes, I'm going to change this.
Just
So
one more time before, if I talk, it'll go away, but let's see it.
so let's see if we could get this. And so I'm going to leave it just like that, and I'll mute.
Perfect. It's really pretty if you can't see it anymore. It's really gorgeous sunset, everybody. So over the next half hour, we're going to do a kind of guided intentional listening to music that you love. Most of it will be done with your eyes closed. So if you're driving right now, seriously, please pull over if you want to continue this. I'm going to give you instructions and some information as well as the guided listening experience. And once you practice a few times, you won't need any of that, and you'll be free to do your own guided intentional listening. Let's begin by choosing a song you love. Any specific song that comes to mind and has some meaning for you is perfect. Choose your song now. Music is a big part of things like exercise and study and relaxation, and in some cultures, even day-to-day activities like cooking and cleaning are set to music. Today we're going to connect a specific intention with music, forgiveness. Hearing something is a lot different than really listening to it, but there's still plenty of power in background sound and rhythm. To ease your mind, an informal study that was done by Dr. Claudius Conrad, who's an oncological surgeon and a classical pianist, on background music in his ICU, found something really remarkable. Compared to patients who weren't listening to music, Dr. Conrad's patients had a 20% decrease in 2 stress hormones, and they healed more quickly because of increased levels of pituitary growth hormone, and they needed half the pain meds of the people who weren't listening to music. And that's just hearing. Today we're going to go deep. We're really going to listen to music, the music that you love. Why the music you love? Well, research indicates that that's the most powerful music for each of us. We're familiar with it. It's part of who we are. So now that you've chosen a song, just let it start to play in your mind. Can you hear the tune? If there are words, do you remember some of them or all of them? This is a start of bringing our attention to music becoming fully present with it, really listening to it. Now, as you listen, can you explore your awareness of the music more deeply by engaging each of your physical senses, sight, smell, touch, taste, and hearing? This sort of somatic experiencing or somatic engagement with music is what we're going to be doing together as a guided listening process. But first, with that song still playing in your mind, bring yourself to a posture that complements or fits with the music you're listening to. Sitting in a chair, hands folded, lying on your back, cross-legged, half or full lotus, standing in hero's pose, maybe even dancing, whatever allows you to listen in comfort and without distractions. Once you've engaged your posture, close your eyes and continue to listen to your favorite song playing in your mind. Allow yourself to breathe easily in a way that seems to fit with your music. Now, as you listen to your favorite song playing in your mind, invite yourself to see the surroundings in your imagination that fit well with your music. Maybe your memory supplies the visual imagery, or maybe it's completely imaginary, even surreal. Swirls of color, gentle clouds, that sunset, whatever your sights, views, vistas, pictures, colorscapes, real life images, or imaginary pictures may be, just invite those visuals to flow from your favorite song. Even with your eyes closed, do you see them? Now, as you listen with the visual imagery around you, invite your sense of smell to join with your musical and visual experience. What aromas show up for you? Baking cookies, the ocean, rain, roasting garlic, roses, earth, new car, cologne. Your favorite aromas are right there, waiting for you to connect them with your favorite song. Or not. Sometimes there's tension between the senses, what they imagine or experience, and the connections aren't obvious. That's okay. With practice, it'll come to you. Now that you've invited sight and smell into your listening room, take a moment to consider what you might touch or what might be touching you within this experience of your favorite song. Perhaps your favorite song is a love song and you're listening with your intimate partner's hand in yours or in their embrace. If you're barefoot in your mind's experience of your song, perhaps you feel the earth, grass, sand, rocks, concrete, wood, or even ice under your feet. Maybe you're swimming through your song or making love during it. What are the full body sensations you experience? Are they hot or cold, cool, soft or squishy? If this experience is new for you, just connect deeply with what you feel right now in your listening posture, the chair, the floor, your hands folded together, the temperature in the room, whatever your sense of touch brings to you. Now, is there a particular taste that goes well with your favorite song? Chocolate, red wine, mint, bread, spices, smoke, asparagus? Touch and taste can be tricky to excavate, but the memories are there, just waiting for you to engage them with your favorite song. What does your music taste like? As you hear your favorite song playing in your mind, what else do you hear? Maybe your experience of somatic listening has brought you to a specific place where there are other sounds in addition to the music, sounds of nature or a cityscape. What are those other sounds? Maybe you're also listening to the sound of your breath or your heartbeat. Invite those additional sounds to join in with your music. Now you're really listening. Let it all play for a few minutes. Your physical senses are now fully engaged in the listening experience: sight, smell, touch, taste, and hearing. Rather than quieting the five senses, you've given them permission to be actively engaged in the experience of listening, which also brings you into full presence. When you practice this without my helpful but distracting voiceover, your listening experience will become even more full and personally aligned with your music. Let's just take a few seconds now to allow listening with full somatic engagement. If your song reaches the end, just simply start it again. I'll be back to you in a couple of seconds. Come into full presence or full awareness of music like this is the first part of intentional listening. Listening to your favorite song with this full somatic engagement of your five senses prepares you for the next part of this guided listening process, adding intention. Intention implies a purposeful, conscious choice, but as we did with somatic listening, before we're ready to activate a specific intention, we have to consciously engage the other aspects of ourselves beyond the somatic, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. I call this engaging music holistically. So how do we do that? With your eyes still closed and your music playing in your mind, consider with me how intentional listening builds on somatic experiencing. Somatic experiencing brings us to full physical presence and awareness, all our physical senses engaged and active, which is a great place to become intentional. And that same music then functions as a powerful gateway for intention. Our practice now is to connect our music to our intention, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, holistically. How do we do that? As you continue to listen to your song, playing in your mind, invite your somatic listening experience of the music to include physical intention. Think of physical intention as the trigger moment where dance music makes us move or relaxing music makes us stop moving. As you listen, let your mind begin to be curious. Ask yourself, what might my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual intention for forgiveness be? For now, just let this be an unanswered question. We'll come back to it. As you release any demand that you answer that question, allow yourself to find any particular physical intention that seems to fit with or flow from your favorite song. For now, your physical intention could be as simple as just staying present in your listening posture. And that's perfect. For many of us, grounding our minds in a single intention takes work. That's one reason why we write down goals and make plans to achieve them. To allow mental intention to flow from our favorite music is kind of the opposite of goal setting. Instead of conjuring an intention in our mind, we let the music lead to the intention. For the music playing in your mind right now, do you feel a certain kind of mental energy that fits well within it? If your favorite music has words, where do those words lead your mind? If there's a predominant mood in your favorite music as it plays in your mind, does that mood trigger any thoughts? Memory's a powerful thought magnet, and music often reminds us of thoughts connected to the musical memory. As you know, the mind can function as a sort of internal music streaming service, while it also acts as a listening observer and comments in real time on what it hears. It can offer you an abundance of ideas about the content of your somatic listening. For now, just notice those ideas as they flow without necessarily grabbing on to any particular one. The simple observation of what we think as we listen might be the best intention for this listening moment. How about emotional intention? Noticing all the feels. Your favorite music may have subtle or powerful emotional content in it. As you listen somatically, what are the feelings that arise for you? Emotions could be clingy and constant or flighty and fickle, but some we like and some we don't. For now, just notice the emotions that come through your favorite music as it plays in your mind. No need to direct them or organize them or even judge them. There's no reason to take action on anything you feel right now. Intention for this moment is simply to notice the emotions in the music as it plays in your mind. Now, consider your spiritual intention as you listen to your favorite music. If your music invites you to a deeper awareness of anything that isn't physical, mental, or emotional, you're probably getting a spiritual invitation. Spirituality can be restful or marvelously active. Sometimes both rest and activity are part of the same spiritual experience. Whatever the genre of the song you're listening to, what is the spiritual invitation in it for you? To accept that invitation, you may need to momentarily release your intention from the physical, mental, and emotional experience of your music and explore the other private, internal ways that your music acts on your whole being. For many of us, that spiritual intention in music takes the form of a simple question. What else is my music offering to me? We've reached the point in our listening process where it's time to bring your song to a close and prepare for the next phase of our process together. To do this, take a few moments to allow your favorite song to end naturally, either with some final cadence or as a gradual fade to silence. And then, when you reach silence, even though you may notice that your mind is still quite active, allow yourself to enjoy a deep breath as the echoes of your music fade away. And then, when you're ready, open your eyes. Now that we're back in the room together, it's time to move on to forgiveness. Before we do that, consider what it takes to be really forgiving. For this session, in a word, it takes vulnerability. Vulnerability is an ideal internal state or affect to have before deploying it externally as authentic forgiveness. Ask yourself now, what are some characteristics of vulnerability? It's a complex thing, isn't it? It seems to have a light side and a shadow side. On the shadow side, it could be hesitant or cautious, risky or scared, anxious, unsafe, doubtful, and sometimes powerless. But on the light side, there's courage and curiosity and trust and hope, and you can feel expectant or accepting, peaceful, sometimes even serene. To be authentically forgiving, you have to first be authentically vulnerable. How does intentional listening connect us deeply to our vulnerability? Now you've briefly explored the state or effect of vulnerability. Is there a song that you love that speaks to you in that way? Vulnerability you can see, smell, touch, taste, and hear? Somewhere in your favorite music, there's a song that connects you deeply with courage in the face of fear, trust in spite of risk, curiosity that silences anxiety. Let's try this together. Choose a song from your personal top 40 that connects you deeply with how you experience vulnerability. It doesn't have to be a perfect match. Got it? The experience of vulnerability is often very private and personal. The song you choose is your safe way to fully welcome your own vulnerability. And you already know how this goes. just like we've done, begin to play your vulnerability song in your mind. Find the best posture for this new kind of listening, and then close your eyes. Begin to engage somatic listening and notice sensory input from each of the 5 physical senses as they chime in with their response to your vulnerability music. And now, since our intention is vulnerability, allow your vulnerable music to connect with how you are at your most vulnerable state across all 4 aspects of your being: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Let each of those aspects of your vulnerable self have its voice within your music. As this music you've chosen for intentional listening with vulnerability plays in your mind, notice that your intention to be vulnerable can be paradoxical. You may become aware of both anxiety and curiosity, risk and trust, fear and courage. That's perfect. That's what vulnerability is. Only when your inward-facing physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects are fully engaged with your vulnerability are you ready to activate the outward-facing practice of forgiveness, which is exactly why intentional listening is so powerful. Practicing the connection of vulnerability to the song you've chosen creates and strengthens a durable neurological pathway to vulnerability that you can activate whenever you need it. And wouldn't that kind of richness in your vulnerability be a beautiful way to animate your forgiveness? Let's test your vulnerability with forgiveness. For this practice, choose some past situation for which you've considered offering forgiveness to yourself or to another, and within the music, let yourself express that forgiveness and experience the results of that forgiveness, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Do this without judgment and with gentle acceptance. And as you do so, just let your music keep playing. Remember the question about intention for forgiveness? By fully engaging yourself with your music for vulnerability, you've allowed yourself to discover your full realization of that vulnerability, and you've deployed it as forgiveness. As we approach the conclusion of our time together, take a few moments while your music is still playing to remember what we've just done. We've used our favorite music to somatically embrace listening. And from that deep place of full presence, we've connected that music with the intention of vulnerability. Then we used our full presence with the intention of vulnerability to activate authentic forgiveness. One of our human superpowers is that our systems don't discriminate between what we hear in our minds and what we hear with our ears. So this process is available to us at any time, with or without actual sounds we can hear. Now it's time to bring your song to a conclusion. Offer yourself gratitude for what you've learned and compassion for how much more there is to learn. As your song ends, give yourself permission to take one more breath in silence. As you open your eyes, please know that the experience you've had has already become yours to keep and use. Anytime you need to remember parts of it, you can always refer back to this recording. Finally, thank you for our time together. You are the best part of this healing journey. And as you offer yourself this new way to come alive with care for your well-being, be well, be blessed, and let your music play.
That was simply beautiful.
Thank you, Deb.
It was so lovely. And I was thinking about my meditation music and where that takes me.
Yeah.
And how it fills me. I know you probably can't see me because I have the sunset behind me, but I just wanted to share that. And how my senses all get involved when I hear that music, and I feel like I'm getting a big divine hug. And when I get a divine hug, I feel less vulnerable to allow myself to feel my feelings because I'm in the middle of a divine hug.
Isn't it difficult to talk about all this with terms that work?
It is.
These beautiful words mean so much in so many different ways. And I
Mhm.
get that. I really do. I think you could
Yeah.
do this with a singing bowl, just one tone, could be the whole thing.
Right. Yeah.
But whatever your favorite, I mean, you did it perfectly. Your favorite music just came to you, and there you
Mhm.
were.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was lovely. You've had a lot of nice comments on the Facebook Live.
Oh, people are
So,
listening with their eyes
y-
open and typing at the
y-
same time?
well, I guess they're making comments when something moves them, right? And
I
that they
know. I'm
want.
I'm playing.
Yeah, I know you are. You're very kind. So, so you might even want to go on there and just look at some of the things that people said.
Thank you,
Um,
everyone. Yeah, I'll take a peek.
yeah. And so, Bill, how do people get in touch with you?
Real easy. Now that you can spell my name, Googling me is easy. I've got a website with my name on it. But quest.musiccare.net is a really great place to start. Free stuff, links. You can book a 30-minute free call with me, all kinds of things there. So quest.musiccare.net.
Wonderful. And I'm so grateful to have you here with me again. I love having you as a guest, and I'm sure that we will meet again in the future. And
Absolutely, yes.
yes, yeah. So I'm very grateful for your service and all that you bring to humanity.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Deb, for doing this. You guys are amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been a privilege to bring this to everyone. So, well, and we have coming up, just so people know, that there are a few more uh, people that will be spending time with us doing healings, and the next person would be Sue Broom. So she's up at 6:30. She's up next. And if you're hanging around here and listening, please join us on Angel Heart Radio tonight at 8 o'clock as we do a ceremony of light for this whole wonderful day of healing. So I'll look forward to seeing everybody there. So have a wonderful evening. Take care. Bye-bye.